Bienvenidos. Soy la Bruja Espinada, and I am here with a very, very special spring equinox reading. So let's get started. What energies and themes are coming through for this new season, this change of season, the coming of spring? Okay, let's go with these. We have the Queen of Coins. Oh, the Five of Wands. King of Cups. The Wheel of Fortune. And the Star. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Swords. The Ace of Wands. The Nine of Swords. The Eight of Coins, the Three of Swords, and the Fool. I'm going to stop right here. There's a lot of repeating themes. So, let's begin with the Queen of Coins. You've been really working towards securing your resources, which is all great. And it hasn't been easy, as we can see with the Five of Wands. You've been, it seems as though it's been a constant battle. But during this time, you have been really safeguarding a lot of emotions. When the King of Cups comes out, who is the master of emotional feelings, emotional reactions, that's something that has been a huge factor, especially since the protection of feelings is very prominent when focusing on what it is that you're trying to acquire, whether that's been work, financial independence, all the information, education. Coin can be any type of resource. This is like a reoccurring theme. A lot of these cards are presenting themselves again. We've seen them in the past. One of the cards that we haven't seen recently is the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune, especially right now that we're exiting winter, we're entering spring. The Wheel of Fortune is just that, a wheel. So now we are actually coming to a new point in this cycle that's an indicator of hope. Now here's the catch, here's the caveat with all that. We have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is, again, similar to the Five of Wands, a struggle for assertion, struggle for dominance, kind of fighting for what it is that you've been wanting. And that could be any type of want, whether it could be like, hey, you know what, I've been really trying to get this job, I've been really trying to get into the school, I've been really trying to get the information necessary for da-da-da-da-da, I've been really trying to work towards mastering. What it can be, anything, any element or theme. There's just been struggle. We see this with the Wands and the Swords. But we have the Ace of Wands. So it's coming out as though part of the struggle is focusing primarily on ascertaining one thing and not really implementing and finding that balance for other things. And when I mention other things, it's like, I'm just going to go with a common trope, which is all work and no play. That may not necessarily be the case. Maybe you play too much and you don't work enough. Maybe that's the issue and you know that you can't sustain the play without the work, right? So it can go either way. I'm just going with the most common trope of all work and no play. The Wands is indicating, and it kind of feels like it's more work and less play because of the Wands. Wands is a lot of passion, things that you enjoy to do, things that, you know, set your soul ablaze. So it could be either like spiritual work. It can be more like really taking the time to spend time with family, you've been working to support them, but have you really been spending enough time with them? It can be any of those things. That's kind of what I'm getting a sense of. It doesn't necessarily have to be just that. So what brings out your passionate fire? Like, what is it that, you've been working so hard for? Because a lot of the times what we tend to want to do is we spend so much time focusing on one thing, we let the fire die out in another one. And this is what the Ace of Wands is trying to say. It's time to let that passion burn ablaze. What have you been neglecting? And we're followed by the Nine of Swords. As you can see here, there's a lot of weeping, there's a lot of concern. So what is causing this disbalance, this struggle? Because we also have the Eight of Coins. Eight of Coins, Nine of Swords. It's a lot of burden. It's a lot of pain. And it seems as though, and it's not, because we're followed by the Three of Swords here. There's a lot of swords. Okay. And you have a lot of fives, because followed by, we have the Fool. I'm going to get to this right now. But we're also followed with the Five of Cups, the Five of Coins. So there's a lot of fives. When there's a high volume of fives, that typically means there's change brewing. Change is necessary. And that's ideal and perfect for this particular message, because we are about to change an entirely new cycle. So burden, battle. Five of Cups is sorrow. Five of Coins is financial devastation. That doesn't mean that these things are going to happen. It may be that these are the struggles that have prevented you from moving forward and what has taken you away from what your passions have been, because you've been struggling to get back, to have that independence, that freedom, that joy once again, securing that stability before you can thoroughly enjoy, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's all part of a cycle. This is just that now fortune is coming to you. So be hopeful that it is. Having the Star card in a reading is one, despite what may seem like, hey, this sounds kind of like down. The star is the light at the end of the tunnel. I like to remind people that the star is the light at the end of the tunnel. You are on the right path. But this is just, especially with the Five of Cups here, the Five of Cups is just that reminder and indicator that as you struggle with the things that you've been feeling, the working really, really hard, to the point of, your feet are bleeding because your hands are bleeding because you are going and going nonstop. There's been a lot of pain and there's been a lot of struggle, but the Fool is that idea of starting over. That doesn't mean anything bad. It's really taken into consideration that the Fool, okay. So the Fool here is the very first card of the deck. Of any tarot deck, the Fool is the start. So the Fool is the individual that takes a chance without knowing what's at the other side. The person that takes the leap, right? And we may call them a fool. Hey, you don't know what's out there. You don't know what the result is. That's for any decision that's going to be made. Some people will look and put that perspective on you, on a situation that you're going through, and say, hey, that's not going to work out for you. You're a fool if you take that leap. But it's not up to them. And you won't know unless you try, which is why the Fool is here. And I mean, even though the Five of Coin and the Five of Cups have come out, that doesn't mean, okay, so you struggled financially, you struggled emotionally, you focused on things that haven't gone right in the past. But you have to take into consideration, and they'll say like insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. But you have to take into consideration in this sense, especially when the Fool card comes out between this, is that sometimes, even though you can say, I've tried this venture before, I've tried doing this before and it did not turn out well, it was a waste of money, it just caused all kinds of problems, and it's, I've gone through so much. But the difference is that the situation that you're in now is not the same situation that you were in when you tried it at a different time. You're wiser, you've learned your lessons, you know what you now know a little bit better on what did not work, what changes could have been made, what didn't you have then that you have now, that you can now proceed forward. And the reason why, but don't just go to any venture that you've tried. There's a particular one because you have this specific passion. And the reason why I say this is because sometimes we try our hand on a bunch of different things that don't work out, but were you really truly passionate about every single one? Keep that as food for thought. Think about the one that you were truly, truly passionate about, because there's something different about it. When you take that leap as a Fool, you will achieve your Nine of Coins, which is different because with the Eight of Coins, you can see here all the struggle that has occurred, all the hard work that was put into it will result in a fruitful harvest. And then we're followed by the Knight of Swords. This is going to happen quickly. This is going to occur in a quick fashion. This is something that's not without knowledge, right? So a page is someone who is learning. A knight has gained some experience and can now rush forth because they have a little bit more experience. So these two together are kind of securing like what you worked hard for is going to be yours. Then we're followed by the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups is a union. It is a collaboration. As you can see here, you have to, it's like marrying what your experiences with what it's like you bring together your experience and your education, right? So think about it like when you formulate your resume, you put your job experiences and then you put your education, so that one backs up the other. So that just kind of solidifies and secures that it collaborates together to make you learned and make you fruitful. This is reinforced by the sun. The sun is another great card to have. So you have the star and the sun in this reading. So despite all the struggles that have occurred, there's, you know, there's light there. There's that light as an indicator. It's like, hey, it's yours. It is yours, but you have to marry the experience. And I say the experience, it's not just your work experience, but the experience of how things didn't work and how would you change it? How would you do it to be better? Having experienced that. So you take what you've learned, what you've experienced, and how would you marry those together to make a better outcome for yourself moving forward. And you can do that. We are reinforcing this with the High Priestess. The High Priestess can take anything and make it function. It's kind of like alchemy. And you'll see here that the High Priestess also has a book. This book is just that symbol of, okay, let's look over it. Let's see how I'm feeling with this. How can I make this work? How can I add my magic to it to manifest what it is that I am trying to work towards? This equinox is about balance, right? So the quality of daylight and night, it's that equal time frame. It's that balance. So looking over everything, how can you manifest this time between the new moon? Now we have the equinox, and now next will be the full moon. It's that perfect balance. And the reason why this is going to kind of like showing you like, yeah, there's good that's coming out of this is you have the 10 of coins. This is everything that you've been working for, everything that you've been wanting to ascertain and secure. So look at all them coins, all those resources. They're going to be available to you. Everyone that you've met along the way, everything that you've acquired from working here, working there, all the contacts that you've made, these are all very fruitful resources. So you have the 8, the 9, the 10. This kind of solidifies that everything you've been working towards is there. It's all abundance. 8, 9, 10. So we have the Queen of Cups, we have the King of Cups. A lot of emotion here. It's not just about what you're working towards, but emotionally, there has to be some emotional work as well. So you have a little bit of everything here. You have wands, symbolizing fire, cups, water, emotions. Then you have a lot of earth, a lot of resources here with the pentacles. And you have some swords, which hits on air and communication. So okay, just pulling what I am called to pull. Okay, so the Queen of Cups is someone, the King of Cups, the Queen of Cups are on the upper level of the hierarchy, right? Now, there is a difference between the Queen and King of Cups. The King of Cups, as you can see here, it is a goblet that is being protected by a dragon. A dragon, someone that's ferocious, not someone to be messed with, very, very protective of those emotions. Now we have the Queen of Cups, the mother of the ocean, mother of the water. The emotion of ferocity and protection from the dragon is very different from the healing nature of the Queen of Cups. So there's a lot that is to be protected. So while the King of Cups is someone that is very ferocious and coming off as like, don't mess with me, the Queen of Cups is someone who embraces this in a very, very different way. So it is that concept of finding that balance between who you can trust and who you can trust. I know that sounds like I'm reiterating the same message, but the connotations are very different. It's the I can't trust you versus the I'm going to give you a chance to prove that I can trust you. And balancing that out, which is followed by the Three of Wands, that building, so they're shown here with a ladder, building upon those experiences. And then we're followed by the Two of Swords, the Two of Swords of understanding which battle is the most important battle to fight. So as you can see here, there is a monster. Is it at? Here it is. There's a monster in the distance. There's a whirlpool. There's a forest fire going on. There's a lot happening. And with the moon in the background is trusting yourself enough to make that decision of what battle can you fight first. That's the most necessary battle. Then we're followed with the Empress. The Empress is just that indicator of like, what are you trying to feed? It's like making that choice, right? So you have that choice, number 2, between, fighting to be the Empress or giving in to the devil. Devil's all the temptation. The Empress is the level that you're trying to achieve of mastery. And then again, we're followed with the Queen of Wands and the Four of Wands. So the Queen is someone who has mastered their passions. And the Four of Wands is marriage, celebration, all things good. Now, you're trying to reach this level of happiness. You want to be happy. Everyone, not I want to say everyone wants to be happy, because some people are very content with being miserable. They thrive off of misery and they don't want to change. So it's not like, so my statement of everyone wants to be happy is not entirely correct. But in your case, if you're watching this, I only am transmuting the messages that are coming through. And this message is for those that are really, truly wanting to be happy and fighting to be happy, not just because they work so hard, but because they've also learned to manage play with work. You will be able to marry the two. Happiness through having built your resources and that you are able to do what it is that you are passionate about. You will reach that level, but it's up to you to make that decision between wanting to achieve what you've been working hard to achieve, and that includes mastering your emotions, not just burying them. No, you have to balance it's all about balance. That's why it's the equinox. This is an equinox message of equality. You have to balance all of this, and it's not easy. I don't want to hear like, it ain't easy. I know it's not easy. But if this message is coming through, it's because it's necessary for you to be reminded that, yeah, it's not easy. But do you want to be happy or do you want to be miserable? Pick your struggle. Which one do you want to choose? Do you want to choose to ascertain what you've been working so hard for or not? Do you want to be miserable, or do you want to be happy? What is it that you want? Because you know what you have to work on. And if it's like, well, I need to work on everything. Okay, we'll take it one step at a time. One step at a time. But this also is an indicator of mastering your words. This has come out before. And it's come out again clearly. You, especially now that we're going to be entering the full moon, where if you haven't set your intentions during the new moon, you put into practice manifesting what you set your intentions to be. Funny that the Queen of Swords came out wanting me to stop saying what I had to say. If you feel like something's blocking your voice, preventing you from saying certain things, you're like, oh, suddenly I have a dry throat and I can't say, I'm coughing or whatever. It's the Queen of Swords. Think before you speak. Because if you don't, you're met with, the Ten of Swords, the Nine of Wands, a lot of struggle. But if you're not, so overall, be cautious, be mindful of the things that you say. Otherwise, you will be burning bridges and causing problems. And it's going to be a lot more work for you in the future to rebuild. So if you're not cautious, it's good. Like I said, it's going to take time to rebuild what's been destroyed. So if you burned any bridges, you've got to rebuild them. And you got to start from scratch in how you communicate. You can't just be all willy-nilly, fuck you to everybody, even though that's deeply what we want to do. But the Queen is mindful in the way that she does it. So, but if you have to restart that all over, you're going to have to restart in a lot of ways. You're going to have to rebuild from everything that's been burnt. And that's on everything. Relearning, and this is seen with the Six of Wands. It's like that, okay, you have to relearn all this, reapproach it so you can have these victories, so you can start working really hard to build those resources and moving forward and how to proceed emotionally. Because the way that we speak has a lot to do with how we've worked on our emotions, because sometimes we retain all of our emotions and we don't speak them out because we're too busy trying to safeguard something, and then we approach it in a terrible way. We wait till we explode, and then we choose to say the wrong thing, and then things fall apart. And then you have to start all over because you had to go to therapy, or you didn't journal when you should have, or you didn't take into consideration the way, if you would have addressed it sooner, it wouldn't have bubbled up and exploded. So just be aware of that. These are all just results. So if you make the right decision to be mindful from the get-go of how either you give in to speaking out intrusive thoughts, or, approaching the topic in a way that's not just a straight middle finger to the person, you'll get more bees with honey than with vinegar, right? Whew. I did not think I was going to go that much into it with the cards, but I feel like it's a lot of repeat in these, when these are pulled, because when the message is repeated, someone really has to hear it, and they let it go in through one ear and out the other, and really do not take into consideration. That's this one for sure. So, for our animal spirit guides, we have the lizard spirit. I don't think I pulled the lizard spirit before. So that's something new. Let's see what the lizard spirit has to share with all of you. Lizard spirit. When was the last time you basked in the sun and allowed yourself to daydream? To imagine what might be and who you might become. Lizard spirit appears when you're called to let your imagination flow and dream something new. Inspiration is available to you now if you're willing to slow down and let your eyes close a little, allowing ideas to dance in your head. What might come into being if you were to pursue your dream? right there, that one. How might you grow and expand if you allowed yourself to dare to believe in the impossible, making it possible first in your dreaming mind and then in the world as you co-create with spirit. Give in to the power of imagination, and soon your dream will become clearer. The steps will reveal themselves, and what was ephemeral will begin to coalesce into form. Dream it and be it. Spirit asks you to dare to dream big. Have you been allowing your imagination to run amok and dream up a nightmare that seems to have come true? Fear not, for whatever dreaming you did in the past can change today as you dream anew. I didn't even look right. Wake up from the perception that everything is wrong. Lizard spirit asks you to open up your eyes and consciously dream a better dream. What would it look like to already have what you desire and be the one you wish to be? How might it feel to work toward co-creating this new dream as a reality into a world of senses, drawing it out of the world of dreams and building it in the world of form? Trust in your ability to dream anew. Honor it today. It was that concept of like, yeah, shit didn't work in the past, but now that you know what you didn't know then, how it can only work to your benefit, right? So Divine Feminine, what message do you have to add to this? And guys, I don't make this shit up. It's kind of like, you know what, yeah, you know, you're working back from what hasn't worked in the past. That doesn't mean that it won't work out now. We have Dakini. Dakini's message is the enlightened feminine. My gut instinct is wise beyond reason. I trust my intuition to guide me. Guys, I don't make this up. Usually it seems like I'm rambling because I feel like I'm rambling. But I always know that at the end, this is all going to pull itself together and tell us what it is that we need to know. Did I pass it? I did. Here we go. Dakini. Okay. Dakini can appear as a messenger, a guide, or as a protector. She is known for being unruly in whatever she does because the ordinary rules of conduct don't apply to her. No man rules her, and a taste of freedom is what she wants to give us most of all. When your soul selects her card, the Dakini means that the task will be accomplished. Whatever it is you're currently working on, a project, an answer, or a decision, she will help you see through to the other side. In whatever form you need most, as a playful, angelic presence, as a taskmaster to help you maneuver through what's hard, or as a messenger with the wisdom that is needed for you to take that next step. But with the Dakini, the answer and the way forward is not with the intellect. She is the embodiment of feminine intuition. She reminds you that you have the innate power to know instinctively what's best for you now. The Dakini means it's not going to be straight. A straight, clear yes or no. With the Dakini, it's the third option. She reminds us that there's something out beyond yes or no or even right and wrong. There's something in your gut and will tell you if you can be expansive enough to hear the answer. She is not bound by the usual or by the expected. She will allow you to come up with the unthinkable, the most imaginative, and the most brilliant outcome possible. That's what I've been trying to tell you. That's what this is saying. Like, you have the ability to make anything happen. You just have to choose to trust. Come on. That moon was that intuition that's coming through. You have to trust. You have to trust in yourself. So this is the meditative thought, the meditative question for you to really ruminate on. What is my intuition telling me in this moment? And the intention. My gut instinct is wise beyond reason. I trust my intuition to guide me. And yes, you may have not made the best decisions in the past, but the moon is here as well. And if I have to point it out, the moon is here. So there's two moons and it's a different phase, right? It's a different phase. So yeah, time's passed. Shit has happened. But what remained? And what can you, now that you know what you know in a different phase of your life, how can you proceed forward? You have to trust your gut that you're going to make the right decision and dream the world that you want for yourself. I sincerely hope this message helped, and I will see you guys next time.